fellow mayor and his fellow judges to do this deliberately. You know, so there's a strong part of the cover-up as well. I don't think so. I actually think of what happened, and this is actually more telling in a way if I'm writing about this, and it has to be speculation because how would I know what's going on in the minds of for the judges? I think that they just knew, particularly about Captain, later General Michael Jackson, Sir Michael Jackson. They just knew he's the chief of the general staff. You don't go there. We don't go there. That's, I think, is what happened. The mindset simply excluded all that. But of course, we don't have to have that mindset. We don't have to exclude it. When we look sort of at the Bloody Sunday report, then what we can see is that it was a very cleverly crafted, highly sophisticated version of the Witchery report. It is another British establishment report, exculpating sort of the British establishment itself from all responsibility, and thus opening up sort of the opportunities for myriads of the great and the good, including incidentally the American ambassador, Uncle Sussman, I forget his first name. He said last week, welcoming the report, he said that he talked to Barack Obama about it, and he and Barack were delighted with this report, and delighted, again, with the opportunities it opened up for reconciliation. The great thing is reconciliation. You see, the only thing you've got to look at, sort of in relation to Bloody Sunday, is that not many people in Ireland, this is very important to the way the report has been received elsewhere, not very many people in Ireland are of a mind to make these sort of points, or to make this analysis. When you say it quietly and carefully to members of the Bloody Sunday family of knowledge, everybody knows that this is a very flawed report, and flawed in the ways that I've just seen. But to make the point just seems to be raining on the parade. You know, it does seem to be a bit grudging, sort of about the joy of the families, and it's not intended in that way at all. As I said, sort of I share fully sort of in the joy of the families. Yet, but politically, these are the main points, it seems to me, that need to be made about the Savillie inquiry. And what it shows really is that even after 38 years of campaigning, even after what was, sort of on the face of it, a huge triumph for ordinary people fighting against all the odds, still they won't come clean. Still the British establishment, the British ruling class, won't come clean about what their role in Ireland was. You see, because the other really distinctive thing, I learned with sort of about a Bloody Sunday, what made it different to other atrocities, was that this was an atrocity which can't really sort of be fitted into the preferred narrative of Northern Ireland. The preferred narrative prepared sort of by establishment people everywhere, and particularly by the Irish and British ruling classes. It says that the conflict in Northern Ireland really was about two irrational communities locked in a bizarre conflict about religious and political identity dating back centuries. Sort of a conflict which had nothing to do with Britain, nothing to do with any outside force, self-generated from within this peculiar territory of Northern Ireland. See, the Bloody Sunday wasn't perpetrated by people representing or purporting to represent one community upon people from the other community. Bloody Sunday was perpetrated by the British Army. It doesn't fit into the narrative. You see, when Cameron and people talk about reconciliation between British and Irish people, they also have in mind, and this is said over and over again explicitly in Northern Ireland, there should be looking for reconciliation between the fractious Catholic and Protestant communities in Northern Ireland. Now, I don't need David Cameron or the American ambassador or Lord Savillie or anybody else to reconcile me to my Protestant neighbours. I've never needed that. I've always held that a socialist down through the years have held sort of the working class of Northern Ireland as a common identity and a common interest which, despite history, transcends and will in the end, in practical terms, transcend sort of the artificial differences between us. I didn't need his advice to do that. And I must say, I deeply resented being told by a British Conservative Prime Minister that the time had come for me to quit my The other thing is this. See, not only did I not need that advice about reconciliation, neither did tens, hundreds of thousands of Protestant people in Northern Ireland. There wasn't a great outburst, sort of anti-Catholic feeling when Savillie, begrudgery, when Saville's report was published. On the contrary, all the indications are that the majority of Protestant people in Northern Ireland felt for the Bloody Sunday families, had come to realise the truth of what had happened on Bloody Sunday and recognised that it was indefensible, insofar as reconciliation was one of the results of the Bloody Sunday report that had nothing to do with the advice, the clearing of the British establishment and the things that David Cameron welcomed. It had to do with the dawning realisation that we do have more in common with one another than we have to divide us. Within minutes of the report being officially published, I had a text from a man called Davy Nicol. Davy Nicol will be known to some people from the north of Ireland. Davy became well known in Northern Ireland as the leader of the Ulster Defence Association, a Protestant paramilitary terrorist group. He's mellowed a bit, so he tells me, so in the subsequent years, as so many people. But I got a text from Davy immediately afterwards. It said, "Congratulations, we shall overcome." Davy Nicol. There's reconciliation for you. There's reconciliation. All I'm saying is this really, that we should share in the joy of the Bloody Sunday families. We should welcome. It's always good to win one. Yeah. It's always good to fucking win one. When I say this, sorry, something has just struck me. The week before the Bloody Sunday report came out, we had the result of the second Raytheon trial in Derry. Miss Naylor, already partner, was one of them, two of the members of the SWP in Derry, had been acquitted, and we know now from that occupation took place during the assault on Gaza last year. We know from internal papers that we got under the Freedom of Information Act that it was that occupation by the 9 Raytheon women was caused. Raytheon, a global company, the turnover last year of $22 billion, 70,000 employees in 40 countries. They got out of Derry because of the Raytheon war. We are winners. Talking of victories, I shouldn't mention the Raytheon a victory without mentioning the EDO decommissioners and Brighton who were found innocent last Friday of their occupation in the same location of an arms factory. That's of course got nothing to do with Bloody Sunday. Oh, I was given 5 minutes, I could construct an argument with it connected together. So I just mentioned it and say, Bloody Sunday report, that we should note the politics of it. Note the politics of it. We should welcome the great triumph of the campaign, the inspiration that it gives to us, the people all over the world. And in that statement read out by Tony Doherty outside the Guildhall, he said that at this moment, our minds are with those around the world who have been the victims of unaccountable power and who will never get an inquiry and might never have the truth acknowledged. And he mentioned the people of Grozny, the people of Fallujah, the people of Gaza, Sharpa, and the rest of them. He said, let our truth stand for their truth true. The lessons of Bloody Sunday do not have to do with reconciliation between Britain and Ireland. They have to do with the indomitable determination of ordinary people to fight on for truth and justice, even when they are told that this is utterly impossible. We can win because the Bloody Sunday people won, because the Raytheon people won, because the Brighton campaigners won in their campaign against the arms trade. We can all take heart from that. It's not a question simply of taking satisfaction out of the result of the Bloody Sunday inquiry. What we've got to do is to take it within ourselves and allow it to focus and fuel our enthusiasm for continuing the fight against injustice. If we do that, we will have truly vindicated the dead of Bloody Sunday. Thank you.